Hey, it's Nikki, and these are two important things you'll want to consider when creating a virtual tour. There's still a really big push for tour operators to create online products, and there's a lot of other opinions out there, but for the purpose of this article, I'm looking at two different camps of tour operators. On one hand, you have tour operators who are doing it as a way to generate at least a bit of income during this time of quarantine, but others are hoping to make virtual tours a regular part of their product line for the future. And I am a huge fan of this because travel was very exclusive, right? A traveler must have the privilege of time, money, and access. I've always found it really naive of Americans to complain about a difficult visa process they had to go through when there are passports in this world that have a very limited amount of places they can travel to at all, right? Some passports have more privilege than others. Furthermore, the travel industry, society, have sort of perpetuated this image of travel as being specifically exotic and far off destinations, right? So in all the images, you see tall, thin, blonde, in a red flowy dress at a lush resort in Morocco, right? That's kind of the image of travel. But what about local travel? I can give you the location of a food court in Flushing, Queens, which is the non-touristy Chinatown of New York City, that will basically bring you to Taipei between the food options and the demographic of shoppers. Bonus, it's easily accessible without a plane ticket or a big budget. Right? So there's other ways to look at travel. So yes, virtual tours are a great way to engage your customers and throw a bit of money towards your out of work guides. But virtual tours are also one step closer to making travel more accessible, giving more people the opportunity to become travelers. So let's make an effort not to make them just plan B, right? But amazing experiences that can expand your product offerings and expand your market. So in this article, I'm going to go over two most important things to consider when creating a virtual tour. Number one, what is the platform? Very basic, but very important, and this might take some experimenting. In order to create an online experience, the very first thing you need to do is think about what platform you'll use. Facebook Live, Zoom, Instagram Live, other platforms. There are countless benefits and disadvantages to each platform, but you have to think about where your audience already is or where they'll be the most comfortable, right? So things to consider. Functionality. Can there be multiple managers on the call to take care of things like answering comments or questions? How does the screen share work? How does the chat function work? Are there other interactive features such as polls that might help make a tour more engaging? Security. Is the platform password protected if you're offering a paid tour? Do you have an easy way to deal with any disruptions, such as someone who can't or won't turn off their microphone? Ease of use. Does the platform require an app to be downloaded, or does that app have a fee? And the second thing to consider, very, 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 very important, how is your guide on camera? I cannot stress this question enough. An amazing tour guide does not necessarily have the right skills to crush a live on-camera experience. They are two completely different skill sets with some crossover, but your guide might need a lot of training or help or support in putting this together. I've seen too many virtual tours where the guide is obviously very flustered and overwhelmed. So we need to make sure we're supporting our guides and giving them the skills they need to perform their best on the virtual tours. Some things to consider. How comfortable is the guide with technology? Are they comfortable putting together a presentation? Or are you giving them templates and images to use for like a PowerPoint, for example? Will the guide be able to easily monitor the comment section while giving their tour? It's kind of doing two different things with your brain. Will they have time to comment along the way and answer questions, or will they have to build that in? Does the guide have the proper space to be on camera? Good lighting, no background noise, a decent microphone. These all make a huge difference. And is the guide comfortable with giving a tour with zero live feedback? It is very different to be seemingly talking to yourself in a room rather than feeling the energy of a group of people. It might take some practice. And on that point, I've actually written a separate post for guides about things to think about when creating your virtual tour. So I will link to that in the article as well.